Hello, everyone. It's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to Wasteland Talks, my weekly talk show where I talk about whatever the hell I want. And this is a new segment, and it is Muppet That Movie. So, obviously, I'm pretty sure most of you, especially if you go on Reddit, have seen the idea what if you replaced all the characters in a movie except for one with Muppets? And we're going to take that on. And my buddy Joe here is here to Muppet out with me. And Joe, what movie are we going to Muppet today?
So I had some time to think about it, which in my life is usually just like, a minute and a half of procrastinating when I'm supposed to be doing something. And then the idea came to me, hey, what if Heat had
At
Muppets in it? That's
Michael
how it came about.
Mann's Heat,
Yeah.
starring Al
Yeah.
Pacino and Robert De Niro. And we're going to Muppet this movie. So, obviously there's a lot there's a like a core set of characters and some supporting characters.
Yeah.
So if you were right off the bat, so if you were going to actually keep one of them a human being, who would you actually pick to keep as a human being, Joe?
Well, actually, I had a couple theories. I have a couple versions of this movie in my head,
Okay.
actually. And a part of me, right off the bat, felt that Pacino is just so animated in this movie that he's like Tim Curry in Muppets Treasure Island, where that was my first movie. That is the fallback movie. You won't go wrong. You won't go
Mhm.
wrong with that. However, the more creative side of me, the one that like I think we could have a really good Muppet movie on par with like a Muppet Christmas Carol or even
Mhm.
like what a celebrity human. I thought if we just kept Kermit as Al Pacino's character and De Niro as Constantine from Muppets Most Wanted, a very underrated film in my opinion. And
So they
so
just have the two Kermit.
yeah, exactly. And then the human that's going to be in that movie is probably going to be as short a limited time that he had as Danny Trejo, because
It's
he
just
was
Danny
Danny Trejo in himself.
this Danny Trejo. No,
And you know
I
what? Keep him alive too. Don't kill him off.
so I had a hilarious idea
Okay.
for Hannah and Macaulay, and it was Statler and Waldorf. Can
Oh,
you imagine where they
that
get to be
makes
the
sense though, because they're
they get
old. They're not old, but they're still old men
yeah.
in this movie, you know? And their diner scene is just them, not even like they get along with each other. They're just cracking jokes about the people in the diner. They're not even talking about their schemes or anything. They're just being themselves. But then they
So
go back to being the characters in the movie.
oh, you really thought that you could get away with this? Huh?
Oh, ho, ho, ho. When the heat comes down on you, what else are you gonna do? Oh, ho, ho, ho.
So I thought that would be hilarious if the two of them. My other thought is I feel like Gonzo would be Pacino because Gonzo would just go crazy, and then Kermit with a goatee. Like Kermit has to have the goatee to be Robert De Niro's character, Macaulay.
Yeah,
So these are a lot of fun. So there's three possibilities here,
there
which
are. There really
I didn't
are.
even I didn't even think about doing like Kermit and Constantine from
Yeah, to me,
Muppets Most Wanted. That's so funny.
yeah, and to me, it just made the most sense because the movie is all about dynamic. It's all about the heroes and villains kind of being blurring the line between the hero and the villain. I mean, let's be real. I totally get why people say The Dark Knight is heavily inspired by Heat because
Yes.
it's the same thing in sense of that story of hero villain dynamics.
Exactly. And they have their diner scene too. It's just an interrogation room.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a couple like the two biggest members of Macaulay's crew are Chris and Chirito. So Val Kilmer's character, Tom Sizemore's character. So
Yeah.
Joe, who are you thinking for his crew?
Well, that's the crazy thing about that is I actually I thought about having I thought about the crew, not the two. I guess you can call them like capos. I guess in a sense
Yeah.
they're like higher ranking, but like the lower ranking guys, I'll just get out of the way and say have
Okay.
Doctor T. Ang. You know, even the driver. I had this crazy theory. I'll go back to the other two, but the
Yeah.
driver that they get later in that diner scene, I had a crazy idea of having Sweetums be that driver, but instead of killing him off, they run off with his car like in the Muppets movie, and he goes, "Hey, you can't have the driver without the you can't have the driver without the driver." And he's just running away, trying to get the car like in the Muppets movie, and you hear the music like in the Muppets movie in the Muppets. Like one of my favorite running gags.
That would be perfect.
Yeah,
Honestly, I
yeah,
had
yeah.
another idea for Sweetums, but we'll get to that.
We'll get there, but I mean, for the two
Continue.
mains, I was thinking like at first I thought it would be cool, and we talked about that beforehand to have Walter play Val Kilmer's character, but then you suggested Gonzo, and I do agree with you. I think he has that energy, but also that relatability that
But
puts him in control.
specifically, you have to put a big blonde wig on him.
Please
Like
do.
100%.
And have as like Evil Knievel like he used to do in the show, or put the jumpsuit on him when he's ready for action, like um but
That's
Tom
what he's
Sizemore,
dressed up as when they're robbing the bank.
exactly.
Oh my god.
With Tom Sizemore's character, that's the one with the long hair, right? He's a little bit more the straggly hair, or is
He's the
that different?
one that's like he's also in Saving Private Ryan. He plays vaguely the same kind of like he's like the tough guy. He's the tough
Yeah,
guy character.
yeah. I was thinking about having I was thinking of I don't know what his the Muppet's name is. He's blue. He's the guy with the British accent. He was in the Muppets. He's got like a creepy monster.
Oh, it's like
Yeah.
this is a
Yeah.
maniacal laugh.
And
That one.
this is a maniacal laugh. I
Oh my
think that
god,
would work.
that would be perfect.
I think that would work. Yeah.
That would be so good.
That's the character I was thinking for that, where it's like he's a villain, slimy, but like he come out with some pretty funny lines.
Yeah, because he's like the wild card that seems like he really is like a bad person. Similar in like
Totally.
the town where like Jeremy Renner's character's like that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
my idea was Sweetums as Val Kilmer, and you put Sweetums' hair in the ponytail and everything.
Oh.
And to subvert expectations, I would put Fozzie as Tom Sizemore's character. And
Wouldn't it be funny, like that scene where he's
Waka
running,
Waka.
he carries the little girl and he's telling her a joke, or like he makes a joke to the camera or something.
It's like, hold my finger, Waka Waka.
Waka waka.
Which I did like your idea. So that Sweetums idea is perfect with the
Yeah.
driver, and they totally would have to do that gag. I do
Boys,
think
wait for me.
I do like the idea of like having the Electric Mayhem as just the crew. The rest
Yeah,
of oh
totally.
my god, and I'm all
Don't
or
shoot him.
or even having Animal as Val Kilmer's. Who's
That would be
just
kind of funny too, especially with his girlfriend. Was that the one played by Ashley Judd, or was that a different actress that was
no,
his girl?
that's so Ashley Judd is Val Kilmer's wife,
Oh,
and then I think Diane Venora is the one who's married to Pacino,
gotcha.
and then Amy Brenneman is the one that starts dating Robert De Niro.
And that's
So
another
one of them
reason.
has to be Miss Piggy.
Exactly. And that's another reason why I ended up choosing Heat, was because this movie's so operatic in a
Hmm.
sense that it's not really just an action film. When I say a movie's operatic, I'm saying it's got everything. Like it's not just an action film, thriller, it's a romance. It's
Yep.
got, I wouldn't say comedy, but it's got its funny moments. Like it
It's
just
a
has,
tragic. Well, if it's not supposed to be funny, anything
yeah,
Pacino says is
in a
funny.
dark sense, maybe. Yeah.
You know, you can sit in my wife's house, sit on her couch, but you're not watching TV. They just aggressively kicks it out of the car.
And just having Kermit do that would be funny because you're watching my TV. Ah! Like no one we forget this, but Kermit is funnier when he just breaks loose, like see how he's got his mouth always closed up, and you know this man is ready to like blow his lid. Exactly, he's doing the
Like his face turned into a fist, basically. Yeah.
and
Oh
just
my
seeing
god.
him blow up, it's good contrast to that. I think that's why I ended up choosing it for
That would be a lot of fun. Because like there's
yeah,
a lot of great character actors in here with McKelty Williamson, Wes Tooty, Ted Levine, Dennis Haysbert, William Fichtner,
yeah,
Henry Rollins.
yeah.
Where oh my god, who I feel like you would have to have somebody fun to play that Henry Rollins character just to be on the other side of the phone when it's like I'm talking to a dead man on on the other line of this phone. It's just like, oh damn. But like
Yeah.
I feel like who I would pick Walter to be is Hank Azaria's character. I think that would be hilarious. Poor little Walter just sitting there in the chair getting yelled at by Al Pacino, Kermit, Statler, Waldorf, whoever's supposed to be Al Pacino's character. Oh my
Yeah,
god. I think that would be
yeah.
a fun thing.
I personally, in my mind, it just I know it sounds like it's going to be wasting his character, but Beaker being blown away by that screaming fit, to me, and everyone telling him to shut up, to me,
So
I that's why that would work.
so John Voight's character has this mullet and this mustache, and he's supposed to be like the sagely criminal. Eaker. I know Bunsen. Bunsen with a
Bunsen,
mullet and a giant mustache. Just
yeah,
being this character would be hilarious. I'm just
yeah.
imagining like the funniest possible combinations of Muppets with all the hair these characters have would be so funny.
And the
Um,
funny thing is too is like that could be a side joke in the movie where maybe some characters replace each other's wigs, and they're like, "Yeah, you got my wig on." Like
well,
that's my wig.
Constantine would just have to have his mole keep moving around a la Robin Hood Men Tyke. That would be hilarious. It's just like, what mole? Rest in peace, Richard Lewis.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, but
I
Joe, do
agree.
you have any other thoughts or notes that you wanted to throw out? Because I'm not gonna lie, this is starting to sound like a really fun movie.
It real. I mean, listen, the possibilities really do add up when you are, coming up with this.
I have one idea. Instead of bullet sounds, all the Muppets make their own bullet sounds.
Mm.
Where it's just like
Pew pew pew
yeah.
pew. They use
I
actual explosions, though. I mean, I think that just fits into, and then like they cut to a scene where like you just see like bricks and like paper mache, being thrown at them when there are big explosions.
absolutely. Oh man, real
Oh,
explosions and Muppet sounds for Gunch.
but here's the thing I wanted to throw in there too, because I thought about this when it comes to celebrity cameos, because every Muppets movie, the
Yep.
show, always has an obligatory cameo. And honestly, why this has not happened is a travesty, in my opinion. But for let's get Patrick Mahomes into a Muppet thing. Just getting Patrick Mahomes playing Patrick Mahomes. Maybe he's the deadbeat dad stepdad who's on the couch opposite to Kermit.
And Kermit just yells at him, "You can watch my TV."
Hey man, I just want to sit down watch some TV. Don't mess with the TV.
So, how meta do you want to get and also get Danny McBride in this? Because Patrick Mahomes sounds like a combination of Danny McBride and Kermit.
He does.
There's a clip where I saw on TikTok and it's Danny McBride. It's Patrick Mahomes talking, then it cuts right into Kenny Powers. He's pounded down.
Oh,
I'm
I know
just
what
like,
you're thinking about.
I'm like, oh my god, it's perfect. He does sound like this.
Is
But
it that
no, love that
falling in?
idea putting Patrick Mahomes in this to confront Kermit at some point because it needs to happen.
Totally,
Oh,
totally.
well, we just made a Heat so much fun by putting Muppets in it.
You gotta set the lights, you know. It's a Muppet show tonight.
Oh my God. All the score just gets replaced by like the Muppet music and stuff like that.
Just the
Uh
opening. And that's another thing I want to throw in there too before we wrap up. I just another reason why I ended up choosing this movie is just because we don't often talk about Michael Mann as a filmmaker, because he really has a style, you know. Like, and I think we underestimate how much style he puts into his movies. Like Michael Mann, to me, is 80s and 90s cinema to a not a fault, but to just like a just enjoyable degree. I look forward to anything he does. You know, like Manhunt, from Manhunter to Collateral. I always look forward to the cinematography, the
mhm.
music selections.
Yeah.
Like even this movie has the boom, 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 boom,
Mhm.
boom, boom, boom. Like you think you could almost picture Phil Collins going, "Do you remember?
Oh
I've been
man.
waiting for this moment all my life."
And they have
Oh,
some
but
great choices in like Collateral and stuff like that. Oh my God. Like the club scene and everything. Now,
Darwin.
this would be the coolest Muppet movie and still absolutely hilarious because it's
And
a Muppet movie.
and hilarious. And if they really wanted to, even though it's not really Heat that has the Miami Vice color schemes from the 80s, why not do that? Why not make it more like visually look like Manhunter or Miami Vice from the
We're
80s
all
or
just gonna go out and in the climax in Nagata Devita, it starts crying like a Manhunter.
even Aviators. You know, you remember at one point there was like a lot of AI Muppet artwork, and there was like one guy that was like picturing Miami Vice with Muppets, and like you just see these Muppets, what the aviators and stuff like that. To me, it's just cool and funny.
Well, we might have to Muppet that TV show at some point
We could
to
like
Miami
literally.
Vice.
There needs to be like a. This needs to be like a segment. This could be a whole segment of just like what can we Muppet next.
Well, there will be more Muppet That Movies coming your way at some point, and if Joe wants to keep coming on, he's more than welcome to.
You know, I procrastinate a lot when I'm at work. I've got 15 more ideas coming your way.
There we go. We got plenty to go on. But Joe, thank you so much for coming on and Muppet this movie with me.
You got it, brother.
And thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.